Hello dear learners, how are you doing? Today we will be learning about an automation software or a tool known as iMacros. In marketing and specifically digital marketing, there are a lot of tasks that we need to repeat over and over again. Such as, when you are marketing, there is a thing known as engagement where you talk to other people, where you like other people's posts and stuff like that. You need to do that over and over again. And doing something over and over again is not what human beings are designed. We created machines which could do the automation for us. So at this age of machines, why are we doing the automated tasks, right? So today we'll be learning how you can automate almost everything on the internet. So let's start our tutorial. So we start with Firefox browser. This is a browser. There are other browsers such as Chrome, Google Chrome, which almost everyone is familiar with. There is Internet Explorer, there is Safari, and a lot of other browsers as well. But the tool that we're using, iMacros, iOpus iMacros, is available on Chrome as well as Internet Explorer as well as on Firefox. But it works the best with Firefox because of a lot other features that are available on this platform. So let's, without wasting a lot of time, let's start with it. Alright, so when we click on the iMacros tab, iMacros bar opens up on our left side. So as we can see, it is currently empty except for this favorites and demo Firefox folders. And demo Firefox, these are all the demo scripts that are made, but we are not going to look at the demo right now because we are going to create our own automation script. Alright, let's start. So first of all, let me explain this iMacros. Alright, so first of all, as you can see, there are three different tags available to us, or let's say tabs. That is play, record and manage. We don't really need manage for now, that comes later on, but let's look at play and record, right? One of the most important features is record. So in automation, we first record what we want to automate and then we just play it in simple terms. So let's see what we are recording. Let's try to record something. So let's say I click on the record button, and let's say since this page is opened up, let's say I'm clicking on this photo. Alright, the first post. I click on that. So as you can see that something is changed here in our code. There were earlier 3 lines, now there are 4 lines. Okay, let me try pressing the like button. When I click on like, as you can see, the heart pops up, as well as there is another code, a line of code has been added. Alright, so let's try and stop this. I have recorded 2 actions right now. Okay, so the first action was to click on this photo and the other one was to like this photo, right? Now let's get back to this sidebar. So in our sidebar we can see something has been created with the name #current.iim, right? So this is basically the recording that we just made. Okay, now let's see what actually happened on this. If we right click on it and click on edit macro, you will see a new window pops up. This is our iMacros editor. In this we can basically edit the code that has been recorded. So we can see there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines of code already written on it. This might seem like gibberish to you right now, but let's start making sense of it. Alright. So in the first line we see a version command. Right? As you can see, the version, the tab, the URL, the tag, the first word of every line is blue colored, right? That means it's a command. It's a command that we give to the automation software. So version is one command, tab is another command, URL is another command, and tag is another command. Alright, so the first word is always a command. Alright, so and then we have a version command followed up by build something that we have not written. It was already recorded there for us, followed by recorder equal to fx. So we don't really know what that is, and we don't really need that right now, right? Then we have tab t equals to 1. So this is a tab command which tells the code that we need to go to the first tab t equals to 1. Alright, so in this we go to the first tab, that is t equal to 1. So then we have a URL command. Using this URL command we write go to equals to this URL. Alright, so let's first see what a URL command can actually do. Alright, we see these two lines of code, and let's try and remove these two lines. We simply select all of this as such and press the backspace key, delete everything. So everything is deleted, and we can see that there are just three lines of code. The first one is the version, second is tab, third is URL. Alright, so we have written the third line as URL go to equals to https.com / whatever. Alright, so let's try and save this and close. Alright, as of now no automation has been recorded. Let's try and play this. What happens? We go to the play tab and see we have two options, that is play and play loop. For now let's just stick to play and see what happens. If I click on play, you see that the page reloads. Let's look at the code again. So basically if you look at this string, this line and this, they are exactly the same. So basically we have told the automation software to go to this web page. So instead of going to this, let's say facebook.com. Alright, so instead we can just let's remove all of this. So we only have URL and go to equals to. So let's say we want to go to facebook.com. Alright, so we write www.facebook.com. Alright, and we save this and close. Okay, pretty simple. We just wrote one line of code, that is URL go to equals to www.facebook.com. Alright, so I'll select this macro and play it. Let's see what happens. Woohoo! We went to facebook.com. How cool is that? Alright, so this automation will run till it loads the page, and as we can see it is still loading. Once that page has been loaded, this automation will stop. Alright, so let's go back to the page that we were on. Awesome. So let's see the code once again to understand what it is doing. So basically the version line tells the automation tool, that is iMacros, that this is the version and we are using. The next line, tab t equals to 1, tells that it wants to use the first tab in the browser. So since we only have one tab and it is the first tab, we don't really need this, right? We can definitely get rid of that, and we just have one line of code, that is URL go to equals to facebook.com. Let's see if it still works. We save that and play it again, and voila, it opens a Facebook. So I click back again. I'm clicking back again because let's try and automate something now. Okay, so this is Instagram. We are gathered here today to learn automation on Instagram. So let's say I want to automate, let's say, following a lot of people. If you are a digital marketer, the one thing that we have to do a lot is follow a lot of people to increase our reach, right? So let's say I open this account, call me social. Okay, we can see it has 449 followers, and it's an Instagram marketing company. Now this looks good. So what we do is, let's say we want to follow the followers of this account. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll open up this account, we'll click on followers, and when you click on followers, you see we have a bunch of accounts open up. These are the followers of this particular account, call me social. Okay, so what we are going to do is we're going to, let's say, record. Okay, and we're going to record clicking the follow button from a list. So let's try that. I click on record and I press the follow button. Cling. And you see that a small thing popped up. When that popped up, you see that a line of code was added to this, right? So let's stop there for a while, very simply, and see what the code looks like. Edit macro, and we see the familiar first two lines are still there. Then the third line is URL go to equals to, which we know what it does. It goes to this URL, right? And if you look at this, it is the same URL. But what we want to do is we want to automate clicking the follow button, right? So we don't really want to automate going to this address again and again, because we're already there. So what we can do is we can simply remove the URL go to line. Ta-da! And we're left with 3 lines of code. And we discussed earlier that we don't really need tab t equal to 1 as also. So let's remove that as well. So now we just have 2 lines of code. And both of these lines of code were already recorded. We did not write even a single piece of code till now. Let's save and close this. Right? Let's go to the play tab. Now, since we recorded clicking on the follow button in this macro, let's play it and see what happens. Whoa, it clicked a next follow button automatically. We did not do anything, it just clicked it. Let's try that again. Whoa, so we've recorded an action, and it just by clicking on the play button, it repeats the action on its own. How cool is that? You don't have to keep dragging your mouse again and again on different places. Tick, 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 tick. You can simply keep clicking on play and it will just click on the follow button. Superb. But isn't it boring to having to click the play button again and again? We are lazy people. We want to automate that as well. So let's do that. Now how do we accomplish that? We accomplish that using the repeat macro option, which is here. As you can see, the current is fixed at 1. We cannot really change that. What we can change is the max option, right? So right now the max option is 3, and below it it's written play loop. So in honesty, what we wanted to do was loop clicking the follow button, right? So let's say I have selected max as 3, and let's see what happens if I click on play loop. So it should ideally click the first three follow buttons, right? Let's try that. Boom. Wait a second, what happened? Did we miss something? Let's try that again. Okay, we are playing the loop button, but it's happening just once. Why is that? So the reason is that the loop is being repeated very fast. Right? It's happening so fast that we don't even see it because the computer is really fast. So what we need to do is we need to click on the follow button and wait for a few seconds and then click on the follow button again, right? So how do we tell the software to wait for a while, right? So let's open our code again, and we can see that this is the action that we have recorded, that is clicking the follow button. We press enter and we add a new command. The command is wait, W-A-I-T, wait. Ta-da! And the computer will wait. But how long do you want it to wait? So we need to specify how long do we want it to wait by adding a simple line, that is the number of seconds. We do that by writing seconds, seconds. So seconds equals to, let's say, 3. So now what, if you look at the script, what it would do is it will click the follow button and wait for a seconds equals to 3. Let's see if it works. We click on save and close, and we have saved that thing. Now let's try clicking on play. Okay, boom, it clicks the follow button and it is waiting. Okay, it's gone, but we wanted to try that in a loop, right? Okay, so let's try that with a loop. Earlier we were facing a problem that it was happening so fast that it could not get the next two follow buttons. Let's try it this time by adding seconds wait of 3. Okay, I click on play loop this time and let's see what happens. So it clicks the follow button, waits for 3 seconds, then it clicks the follow button and waits for 3 seconds, and then it clicks the next follow button. Whoa, what just happened? We created an automation tool which can follow as many number of people as we want. Let's, instead of making it 3, sorry, excuse me, instead of making it a loop 3 times, how about I make it loop 7 times? So it should actually follow 7 different people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And it will wait 3 seconds after each follow. Let's see if it works or not. I click on play loop, and 1, 2, 3. Whoa, it's going, it's going. 4, 4, 5, 5. Yes, come on, two more. 6 and 7. Ta-da! So without any programming knowledge, just knowing simple lines, just one line, that is wait seconds equals to 3, we have created an automation where we can follow as many people as we want. How cool is that? Now let's understand how this code actually worked, because we added one line of code ourselves and something was there which was recorded. Any action that we performed was recorded. We clicked on something and it was recorded. Now it wouldn't be great if we can customize that, right? So let's go to edit macro again, and we see that this line was the one that was added automatically. So let's break it down and see what it does, right? So as you can see, the version, the tag, the wait, these commands are in blue, right? So the tag is a command. Okay, so what is a tag? Let's rewind for a while. Let's cancel this. and come to this page again. Everything that is on a web browser, on the computer that you see, this is created using tags and which is written in HTML. Okay, HTML. If you search on Google what is HTML, we would see this introduction. What is HTML? So HTML is the standard markup language for creating web pages. Alright, let's see. A simple HTML document looks like this. Many of you might have probably seen this, many of you might have not. So the language of the web is HTML. Everything that is seen, that you see on this page, is written in HTML. If you want to see what the code looks like, we can see that on the source code of the page. So to us human beings, the page looks like this. However, like this. However, this is what it looks like to the browser. This is the actual HTML code of this entire page. Excuse me for that. This is the code, right? And you can see there is a lot of stuff going around here which we have absolutely no idea about. So let's not get into all these technical details, but this was just to understand what HTML is and how we can use it. Now let's open our followers window again. You can see that there are these elements, we call these elements, like there is this photo, there is this profile name, and there is this following button. Then again profile name, following button. You can see this is a pattern, right? So let's see what this following button looks like in HTML. Now you might be wondering how we are going to go through all the code. Worry not. There is a simple way. We simply right click on this button and select inspect element, and this pops up below the screen. This is the inspector window where we can inspect every single element that we want, right? Since we clicked on this, you see that this is already highlighted in blue, and when you hover over it, you can see that it is being selected here as well, right? So this is the HTML code for this particular button. This following button has this code. If you look at the source code of this page, we can see, if we search on it, we can see. Alright, let's leave that for a while. By inspecting this, we can see this is how the HTML looks like. Okay, so the HTML, this is the HTML tag for button, and there is a bunch of other code, and then there is the text following. If we inspect this follow button, we will see something similar, that this is a button, button button, with some text and then the word follow written on it, right? So let's go back to our iMacros code. When I right click on it and edit macro, we see that there is this tag command followed by pose equals to 1. So now what does POS equal to 1 mean? By POS we mean position, right? Since we clicked on the first follow button, the position was 1. Okay, let's see if we make any change. Instead of position equal to 1, what happens if we make position equals to, let's say, 2, right? Let me get rid of wait seconds equals to 3 for the while. In our code, I just made a one simple change, that is pose equals to 2. I save this And what do you think is going to happen if I click on play? Since earlier it was pressing the first follow button, theoretically it should press the second follow button, right? Because we changed position equals to 1 to position equals to 2. You see that? And voila, that's what it does. It clicks the second follow button. Awesome. Let's edit a macro again. So the position, let's make it back to 1. So we know that the first attribute is position. Now the next thing we see is type. Now we specify type equals to as button. Now what do I mean by type? Let's go back to our source code. When I come back here, you can see that the HTML tag is a button tag. Right, there are a lot of tags. For example, there is this div tag, then there is li tag, then let's scroll further up. We see there is this script tag, right? There is this span tag, there is this body tag, there is a head tag, there is an HTML tag. So there are a lot of different types of tags, but we are not going to spend a lot of time on that, since for our purposes right now we just need this button tag, right? Let's go back to our code. So we have specified that the first button, right? The tag specifies that we need to click that tag, the first button tag. Let's translate it again. Click the first button. Now there is another thing written here which is attr. Now what is attr? Let's go back to our code again. When we look at this entire line, we see the word button, then class equals to something something, type equals to button, right? This class equals to something is a attribute. The type equals to something is again an attribute. What are attributes? These text that is written before the equals to sign. Okay, so in this case the class is an attribute, the type is an attribute. If we look at any other tag, let's say we look at this li tag, this says class equals to something, so class is an attribute. Okay, similarly we have this button, class equals to, class is an attribute, type is an attribute. Alright, back to our button again. So in iMacros, there is another attribute which is the text attribute. This button has the text written on it which is follow. This button, however, has the text following written on it. In iMacros, we can use these as attributes as well. So let's get back to our code. So we selected a tag whose position was first, which type was button, and whose attr stands for attribute. So the attribute is text equals to txt is for text. So what text is written on it? That is follow. Okay, and we separate the text with a colon. So we write attribute equals to text followed by a colon, and then we write the text. Very simple code. So if we look at this code, this entire line, what it does is it clicks on the first button which has the text follow written on it. Pretty simple. Let's get back to the code to see what it looks like. So this is a button, right? This is a button, and this is the first button that has the word follow written on it, right? So if you save this code, it should actually click on this button. Let's see that. Ta-da! That's correct. Now, instead of doing it with the follow button, let's do it with the following button, right? See, so let's say I want to click on the following for deansweeney.ch. Okay, so this is the button. So if you look at it, this is, let's look at the code for it. We right click on it, click on inspect element, right? As we can see, the type is button, right? And the attribute is that it has a text named follow. Okay, so let's change our code, edit macro. So we know that the attribute text is following. So we change it to following. We know the type is button, which is the same. However, the thing that we need to change is position, because in this box we see that Dean Sweeney is at 4th position, the following button. So first following, second following, third following, and fourth following, right? So if I change the tag position equals to 1 to change to tag position equals to 4 and save this, it should click this button, right? Let's do that. It clicked on ultimate @speed lead. Okay, so we cancel this and see where is ultimate.speed lead, which is here, right? Why did it click the third following button instead of the fourth following button? Good question, right? To answer your question, we'll have to close this box. Now you see something different. We see that here is a following button as well. And when we click on the followers list, these following buttons show up, right? So first let's look at this and inspect this following button, right? We see that this is also a button and it has a text following, right? So this is also, this button is also selected by our code, right? So when we click on the followers button, right, we see there are a lot of more buttons. So the following button for this account comes first and these come later on, right? So while coding we need to look at every single possibility. So to select deansweeney.ch, instead of making the position as 3, we have to make the position as 4, right? So let's try that. Sorry, pardon me. So instead of making the position 4, because in this window it is 4, however there is one more following button, so we make this 5. We save it and let's see, do we get Dean Sweeney now? Ta-da! We get Dean Sweeney. So let's go back to our original example, which was to write a code to follow a lot of people. I'm going to close this inspector window, right? So let's edit our code. We know what to edit. We simply make this position as 1, we make this as follow, and we add a wait seconds equals to, let's say, 4. We save our code and we are done. Now we really know how to create an automation, right? So let's go find another account. Let's not stick to one account itself. Let's say we have this Aditi underscore hair artistry. We open this account and we click on the followers, right? We see these many followers pop up. our code is already there. All we need to do is select the number of people who want to follow. Let's say 6, and we just play the loop, 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 loop. So tada, 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 and we have suddenly become masters of automation. We just wrote 2 lines of code, just literally 2 lines of code. We are able to automate following a bunch of people. We can extend this in future to unfollow a lot of people as well. There are lots and lots of cool tricks you can perform with automation. In fact, I have written an entire package on automation on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter as well, that I use for digital marketing, and using just this beautiful piece of software, just one iMacros, I have written code which helps me earn a lot of money. So my entire business revolves just around automation. So there is a lot of scope for every one of you, and you have become masters of automation with just 2 lines of code. How cool is that? Awesome. So I'll see you all next time.